Looking. Hi, Flamingo. Oh,
Welcome to
welcome.
Mazecast number 13. I had to interrupt you there because Vince isn't here for the honors.
Right, I didn't even know we were recording. I saw an
Well, I
error.
figured you were saying, so I
Like,
gave it a
there was
shot.
a big flamingo. It's been doing this thing where it won't show the big picture until I cancel an error.
There
I
he
love
is.
it.
Yeah, he's cool, eh? He's
What is
actually a
it?
hat.
Ah,
I can actually put him on my head here for the remainder of the episode.
all right. That's great. That's great. Oh, our hat too. I have one hat. So this is Mazecast. Vince is sadly sick and so unable to come today. So we thought we would spend the episode talking about Vince because we know that's what you come to Mazecast for, is your dose of Vince. And without Vince, I know we're poor substitutes, but sometimes, like if you have a substitute in school, sometimes you can have a little fun, and you just might learn something. So, you have any thoughts about Vince to start us off, Alex?
Um, I think Vince is one of the primary reasons why I've kept on this so long. Like he's been our rock, like I was saying before. He's been the one who's persistent in doing this week after week. I think it's a good thing. It keeps us active.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, for those of you who don't know, like Alex and I kind of came to Maze separately, right? And we were just kind of individuals on the Abyss, along with other people. And Vince is the one who kind of gathered people together and really tried to proactively build a community around Maze. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's also been a really good sort of referee, so to speak, in terms of how wacky a solution might be.
Yeah. And whenever he's also a good conflict manager, like whenever there's a problem between any of us, he really is one to step in and be like, "Hey guys, we can talk this out and settle this like adults," while at the same time being conscious of each person's feelings. Uh, so,
He is indeed a diplomat among
yeah,
mazes.
yeah. Not only that, he's quite the solver. He's solved some stuff.
Oh yeah, he's got quite a few.
Yeah.
He is an all-star solver. I don't know if you can apply baseball stats or whatever, but his average solve per room is something like two or three, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That earns
Somewhat.
him beta 9 status, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went through when Vince found out he was sick. We went through some of his favorite solutions. So we thought we could just go through and talk about them. I ordered them in a top 10 list. I thought it'd be fun to start with 10 and then make our way down to 1. So 10 being kind of this like maybe least impressive of his top 10, and 1 being his most impressive. Is how the top 10 list works.
Just like Letterman.
Yeah, like Letterman, except a lot more thought provoking. Um, all right, so number 10. I wish I had graphics for this. Number top 10.
Well, if this isn't here, maybe I can work something out.
Okay, number 10. The tie splitter, room 4. So this one, if you're familiar with room 4, which I'm sure you are, room 4 is this page right here, where there's actually two potential right solutions depending on whether you're going into the center of the maze or coming out. Okay, and one of the main things pointing to those two doors is that axe there, the head of which is at the 29 and the handle of which is at the 15. And so I'm not going to go into the broader clues that clue you to that axe, but the axe is those are the two rooms that you're supposed to go through. So the question is, how do you decide between those two? And the solution that Mr. Watley came up with is that it's a process of elimination. So if you've gotten to 4 by the path, you've already gone through 15, and so you know that's not going to be the closest way in. So when you first come upon this room, you'll remember that you've been to 15 already, And so you're not going to go back to 15 if you're trying to find the quickest path. So you go to 29. And then on the way out, you know you're on the way out, so you know 29 is taking you in, so then you'll go to 15. So that was the big tie splitter that he came up with, coming in at number 10, room 4, the tie splitter. Do you have any comments on that one?
Yeah, just the link to room 39, how in room 39 he also mentioned, he was, well, it was pretty obvious, but he was the one who first mentioned it, was that...
Hold on! That's number 9! The hammering and chopping sounds in room 39. Number 9! Why don't you, okay, continue your thought.
9. No, I was just going to say, he mentioned that there's hammering and chopping in 39, and there indeed is in 4, which is the correct door. So even if you didn't get the whole Count of Amontillado, or sorry, Cask of Amontillado theory, then at least you could get that, where if you go to room 4, you'll see that there's chopping, and you will realize the truth.
Yeah, which is 20.
Anyway, number 9.
Number 9 was room 39, the hammering and chopping sounds cluing to room 4. So those kind of went together. But those are two separate entries, because one is something he found in room 39, and the other one he found in room 4. All right, so let's move on. You ready to move on to number 8?
8.
That's really good. And that is room 21. I'll give you a moment to turn to room 21. And this is the Dappled light solution. So if you look at the snakes, the black and white snakes intertwining, you can think about light in a way. And room 24 is totally lit up. And room 31, or door 31, is totally in darkness. Room 44, door 44, which is the proper solution, has dappled light. And that's another one brought to us by Mr. Vince Watley, PD.
Number 7.
7. And now we're going to move on to room 30 for number 7. And this one is a doozy, so we're going to have to take this slow because there's multiple parts to this. Okay, so if you look at that watch there that Alex is holding up, that's leaning on the tree, it's pointing to the letter F. Now, F is the 6th letter of the alphabet. 6. Now, we're on number 7, though. So if you count the number of instances of the letter F in the text, you'll find that there are 7 Fs in the text that's associated with room 30. Now, if you take that 7 and you think about watch, you think about time, and you times it by the 6, which is what F, the number of the alphabet F is, you get 42, and 42 is the proper answer. So that's a brilliant piece of work brought to you by Vince Watley, coming in at number 7 for number 7, Vince Watley's top 10 maze solutions.
Number 6.
And now we're going to move on to room 37. Okay, so again, we're thinking 7 and we're thinking 30, but we're thinking 37. Now, 37 is an interesting room, according to Vince, in that it actually also, like 4, clues to 2 rooms. Like half of the room, the right side of the room, as you're facing it, clues to room 20, and the left side clues to room 10. Now, I'm not going to go into those clues specifically, but there's a bit in the text about the group wondering, well, which one do we go in? And they're split. They're evenly split. And there's other things you can do with those clues. But the clue that Vince Watley wants us to think about that he discovered is that they're split. They're thinking about going in one, but then there's a rattling on the other side of the door, and they get scared away from that. Now, if you look at the picture, only one of either 10 or 20 has a door. Okay, and that's 10. 10 has a door, 20 has a rope ladder. So since they're scared away by rattling on the door, then they climb up the ladder to 20. That helps kind of sway their vote. And Vince Watley brought you that one, number 6, which is the rattling scares them to rope ladder in room 37.
Number 5.
Number 5. And now we're going to go, we're just going to turn the page to 38 now. 38. And you might be wondering, what are we doing in the trap, Joe? why would Vince have solutions in the trap? The trap's a scary place, and Vince is such a good maze guy that he would never be in the trap. Well, Vince treats all the rooms with respect and thoughtfulness, including room 38, where Vince, one thing, oh, here's a trait about Vince, that different people approach the maze in different ways. One thing Vince really specializes in is the mapping aspect of the maze. He really thinks a lot about mapping the maze, and he drew probably the only map I've seen of the maze. I know other people have as well, but Vince is a big map guy. Now, if we look at that broken key up there, Vince discovered that that key is actually a map of the trap rooms themselves. And the place where the key is split is actually room 38. Now, what significance that has, we don't really know as of yet. But, oh, yeah, there we go. Good. Yeah, see, there's the key. I guess Alex also maps the maze. There's the key. And then you see where the break in the key is room 38. Yeah.
I just copied Vince's map.
Oh, okay. Alex copied Vince's map. And I don't even bother to do that. I just ask Vince for I need to know something that's map worthy. Like, does this room go into this room, or how do you get that? And then Vince will take the time to do that. Because he is our beard. All right. So let's move right along. We are cruising through this top 10, and we are getting down to the final four. And let's move to 26. This one is transcendent. This solution right here is one of the greatest solutions that Vince has ever come up with, and probably should be number one, except that the other ones are really great too. And that is, so 26, the conventional wisdom for 26 was just like the devils are pointing to two doors, go to the door that they're not pointing at, and people were like, full stop, that's it. But there's so much more in the room. And key in the room is that bell sitting on the ground there. There's stuff about silence in the text, I think. There's stuff about them getting close to a solution, and then the guide ringing the bell. So Vince takes that information, he looks at the bell, and he says, I think that bell looks like the 0 and 30. Now, another trait of this room is that, you know, we have a 30, a 36, 38. So it's really only the ones place you need to look at in order to come up with where to go, because it's 30 otherwise. So if we look at Alex's screen there, we have that 0 of the bell. And the fact that we can now look at that bell and see a 0 is because of the guidance that Vance Watley gave us. Thank you. That's really good. Brought a lot more into the room, and you know, I think subsequently we're able to springboard off of that and really tie the whole room together in a nice bow. But that was like the initial breakthrough, that discovering that that bell looks like a 0, and Vince was the one who first saw that ever. Which leads us to number 3. All right, 3. We are going to go to page 15. Okay. Do you know which solution I'm going to be talking about here, Alex?
I have an idea. I believe so.
Can you predict it?
I do predict it, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let you.
You don't want to say it? I want to hear your prediction. See if it's the right prediction.
Okay. My prediction is that it is to do with the sun theme in this room coming from above, which is why all the shadows are directly below everything.
It's not it.
Oh.
It's not it. I don't know if he came up with that or not.
Oh, wait a second. I know what it is. It's the Oracle of Delphi.
Yes, the Delphic Oracle, the famous Delphic Oracle solution, room 15.
Delphic.
You want to go into what that's all about?
Okay, well, the Oracle of Delphi in many paintings and, you know, in reality, had a Delphic Oracle sitting on a tripod similar to this with monster-type claws, and she would predict the future, or more setting for this was the saying, be true to thyself, and that is mentioned in the text here, hinting at that, meaning that the guide is probably telling the truth when he says something well leaning on this truth-telling Oraclic Delphic device.
Yes. Yeah. The idea is that if you're leaning on that, you can't lie, and so the guide likes to try to fool people. And part of the trick to the maze is figuring out when he's lying to and when he's not. There's usually a clue as to which way it is. In this case, the Delphic Oracle that none other than Vince Whatley, you guessed it, folks, discovered is the clue to saying that you can trust what the guide is saying right now, because he's leaning on this Delphic Oracle, and there's this long tradition, power of the gods, hindering his tongue from telling falsehoods. So that's coming in at number 3, the sacrificial tripod identified by Vince Whatley as the Delphic Oracle.
So what does that bring us to?
That brings, oh man, this is huge. This is huge. I need a moment, because we are down to it. We are at the final 2. We are at number 2.
Two.
And number 2, let's turn to page 29. Okay, if you look at page 29, there is a table in the middle of the room. If you turn the book over while looking at that table, you will see that that table is actually a door, and the door is going to room 17. Now, there's a lot of clues other than just the fact that, oh, here's a secret door, that's the way to go, that Vince has found. One is that there's a guy standing on his head. Another one, there's an hourglass placard thing. There's all those canes without tops, like what appears to be the cane with the top. You know, it's used to kind of hide the doorknob. There is the candle thing. The candles that are above the 1 and the 7 are not lit. There's a lot that has to do with being turned upside down. There's a spatula which you flip upside down. So Vince was the one who brought that one, and we were pretty stuck. People were pretty stuck before they figured out that you could turn the book upside down and go to 17, because that's necessary to get further on in the path. And in fact, once you go there, you're pretty close to the end of. You're pretty close to the middle. So that was a huge one, really key. I think other people maybe discovered it independently, but one of the people who discovered that independently was Vince Whatley. And kudos to him, and thank you to him for that. All right. Number 1. One. And those of you who watched the last episode will be familiar with the solution. Vince told me today that this was his most favorite solution ever, and it involves room 1. So if we can go to room 1 and kind of just take a quick trip back to memory lane. And this is important that this is in the top 10, because this shows the vitality of the man and the fact that he's not so old that, you know, and tired and squeezed out that he can't still come up with great solutions. Okay, because this is one, you know, from a very old room, you know, a room we spent a lot of time with, that he just came up with a fresh solution last week. And that's room 1. So if you look at the doors there, we have a drum, a cup, a bottle, and an apple. Okay? D, C, B, A. Now, those of you who are familiar with alphabetical order, it's something librarians use to organize fiction. When they use it to organize fiction by authors' last names often. Will know that that's not the actual alphabetical order. That's, in fact, reverse alphabetical order. Okay? So the D, C, B, A in regular alphabetical order would actually be A, B, C, D. So Vince looks at that and thinks, hey, the fact that this alphabetical order is reversed might tell us that maybe we need to do some more reversing of letters in order to find some solutions. So he used that to clue him to the text that said that, hey, take some words in a different order, anagram them, and you're going to find the things above the door. Or, hey, that like there that's on the wall, it's alike because you've taken it backwards. And if you look at letters backwards, you can really get a lot. And so that was a brand new, spanking new, fresh solution. No one else has come up with that ever, by Vince Watley in room 1. And that was pretty exciting. So the man still got it. He's sick right now. We hope he gets better, but he's still got it in him.
I thought he came up with another solution for one as well. Didn't he say something about the glaring sun at one of the worst doors, or the 2 worst doors?
I think that was maybe me. Well, we kind of talked about it, but I think I brought that up. Or, I don't know. That's one that he didn't feel ownership of that. I mean, part of it is the way we all react and talk to each other. It's hard to tell who came up with what. A lot of times ideas just kind of flow and build and things like that. And so we try to stick the top 10. We try to stick with stuff that was like purely of Vince. So Alex, do you have a personal favorite, or even that didn't make the top 10?
I think we could do even more, like not this episode, but I think we could do some more of the best of solutions, I think, because I'm just looking at 2 and 3 and stuff like that, and I'm thinking there's so many great ones that we've come up with since June, you know, and it's great. So maybe not this time. I don't have any personal favorites, really. I just
favorites of Vince's or of that top 10. Which one did you think? Which one was the most kind of mind blowing for you of those 10 when you?
For me, it was room 21 with a dappled light.
Dappled light.
Yeah, I was having a serious blank for that one. I was doing all sorts of stuff with that, like anagrams and like counting the plants. And, and that was a simple and graceful solution.
Yeah, really good. And you know what? Here's a measure of the man's humility, or the harshness he can be with even himself. He didn't even think that was top 10 worthy. But what happened was I did, so I just put it in there.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you. It's definitely worthy. Yeah. That's a room I think it's a really tough room. There's not a lot in there. You can do a lot of mathematics and say, you know, the 8s relate to 24 or whatever. But I think that's a nice empirical solution. Yeah. With no sort of faith needed.
You don't have to do any no leaps of faith, no monkeying around. It's dappled light. And that's going to get you there. Definitely.
Yeah, I guess those are good. I guess, what do you want to talk about what we're going to do next week, or do you have anything more to add?
I think we kind of summed it up. Let's talk about next week.
What about, because I know we've been talking about this somewhat in the chat, you want to talk about Top Hat and the theory about that, or did we do that already?
I don't know if we devoted a whole episode to that. But I think maybe we should do a room next time, just because we didn't do a room this time.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
And then maybe the time after that, do Top Hat, or...
sure.
I think that's a very worthy topic. You kind of want to... You don't want to have special episodes every week.
No, you're right. Let's
put her in there along with your...
It's what Vince would want.
Yeah, Vince would be like, "What are you guys doing? Booking another special episode after this episode? Who does that?"
Come on, guys. Let's focus here. All right, let's pick something.
What do you think? I'll just say some more things about Vince. Vince is a father.
He is also has a beard.
Yeah. I'm growing a beard. I just started today. Think about that going forward.
What can we squeeze the life out of? Oh yeah. I don't know. I've got a good one for 14, but I don't want to do a whole episode on it.
You don't want to do an episode on 14?
No, it's just a pretty. I don't know if it was mentioned or not, but it would be.
Well, why don't you just talk about your solution right now then? Um,
Okay, for those unfamiliar, this is room 14 here. It's probably been mentioned before. This is just silly mentioning it, but they mentioned like 2 or 3 times in the text going out, and it's almost like going out from 10. If you're, going out from under this roof almost, because these two are not under the roof, so you wouldn't want to go. And if I recall correctly, that's where the ladies who did our visitors episode, they sort of either forgot or didn't realize that they could go back into 10 because they seemed pretty reticent into going into the other two rooms, and they sort of picked one reluctantly. But I think that's pretty much it. It's just saying, like, go out there, go out, and the only thing I can see sort of relating to that is the fact that you're sort of going out from under the table. It's sort of like a house because you're like a mouse, mouse-sized. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
I'm totally sure it was mentioned before.
I'm not sure, but I like it.
Well, you know what? Let's not pick a room, and let's just pick a room in between, and then next episode we'll just surprise the viewers.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
But so we are going to do a room next week, you gentle viewers. So in case you really were missing the room focus this week, know that next week it's coming back around again. We'll be back with another room that we're really gonna dive into, and we're gonna come up with some great stuff. And one of those people who's gonna come up with some great stuff, I think he's gonna be better than Vince Watley. So get excited.
Get ready, folks.
He's coming back.
All right.
All right.
Tuning out. Mazecast 13. Goodbye, gentle viewers.